You want to know if the property manager is collecting the rent on time. Are they attending to the tenants? Are the tenants happy? And how often are they calling your friends and family? Like if they've got a leaky tap, are they bugging the the landlord about that, or are they just getting it fixed? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel where I talk about health, wealth, and happiness. And today's topic is about property management. So I'm going to rattle off 5 things that I want to cover in this video. So they are the type of property versus your skill set, how many tenants you've got or how many tenants that you intend on managing, the proximity to your home, people skills and your personality type, and the last one is your learning curve. Okay, so the first one, type of property. What type of property is it? Is it a commercial property, meaning, are you managing a large scale office building? Is it a storage units? Or is it a residential, boarding houses? Are you doing Airbnb? This sort of needs to come into play, and you need to sort of work out, have you got one? Have you got two? Have you got a dozen? Is it scalable? All of those sort of questions need to sort of play in your mind to work out if that's going to be the right decision for you. If it's a large scale, commercial building with 300 tenants, you might not have the time required to manage that real estate. Okay, so decide, what type of property do you have currently? How are you going to scale? Are you going to buy more? And that decision should be factored in. So the type of property is number one. Second one is how many tenants do you have? Like if you've got one tenant and they're across the street from you, it might be worth just you doing it. Then again, how much time do you have? If you've got a job that you're currently doing which is extremely stressful and you're pulling in long hours, and if a tenant calls you at 5 p.m. because they've got an issue, can you attend to that? Can you get a little handyman to go out there and fix the issue, or you're going to be in meetings all day? That needs to be considered. Okay, so the number of tenants does actually chew into your day-to-day life, believe it or not. Okay, large portion of that can be outsourced. I'm talking about your cleaning stuff. You don't necessarily have to do your cleaning, you don't have to do your gardening. I mean, you can do all of these things, but you don't have to. So depending on the number of tenants you've got, you can outsource a majority of these, and I've done my best to outsource as many regular tasks as possible. Some of the ad hoc stuff I do myself, but regular stuff, just don't have the time. It's on a schedule and it gets done, and I get the invoice and I pay the invoice. The other thing is, what was the other one? Proximity to your home. That's a big one. That is a big one, because if you've got properties scattered all over the place, I'm just going to pick a ballpark figure of 30 minutes. If a property is more than 30 minutes from where you live, I personally wouldn't manage it. It's not worth your time. The reason being, you're better off getting a qualified property manager within that area and asking them to manage it. And I'll basically go off topic here slightly. Sorry, not off topic. Off the point. How do you find a property manager? Okay, so if you are going to go and find a property manager, the best way to do it is through referrals. I wouldn't be looking at jumping on the yellow pages or even Google reviews. Maybe use that as a second option. Ask for friends and family who've already got property that they're managing. How are they managing the property? Meaning, you want to know if the property manager is collecting the rent on time. Are they attending to the tenants? Are the tenants happy? And how often are they calling your friends and family? Like if they've got a leaky tap, are they bugging the landlord about that, or are they just getting it fixed? So previously, when I used to have property managers, I sort of set a amount of $100. If it's less than $100, I don't want to know about it. Then I increased it to $500. Okay, if the item that the tenant is questioning is less than $500, get it done. And then I think I left it at that, because when it gets to $1,000 territory, you're looking at water heaters and stuff like that. So heavy, it might be worth the phone call or getting them to send you 3 quotes to get them fixed. Okay, so the next one is skills, people skills, and your personality type. When managing tenants, you really have to have a certain type of people skills that you can sort of empathize with people. If you're quick to anger, getting frustrated, you're losing sleep, might not be worth you spending that time. You're better off getting a professional to do it. If that's just not your personality type, to be empathetic but stern and firm. It's a weird mix. I don't know what personality type that is, but that's what you're gonna have to be. Kind to the point, and keep them at an arm's length, but still be the person that that's going to come down in the nicest way possible if the rent is late. Okay, so I'll give you some of my experience when I used to manage. When I started off, I used to have all sorts of excuses. Hey, I didn't get paid overtime this week. I gotta go overseas to New Zealand because someone has passed away. I can't pay the rent because I gotta go to my grandmother's funeral. I got every single excuse under the sun, and at that point in time, I didn't have the experience or the knowledge that comes with this, and I was very empathetic. I was just like, oh, okay, I'm sorry to hear that. No worries. It's fine. We can sort of roll it on. And this debt started accumulating to the point I was going, what's going on? And I the banks weren't giving me a break. I still had to pay my mortgage. So it was a really hard learning curve, which goes on to my last topic, which is number 4, which is your personality type, and you don't have the people skills to do that, and your experience to push through and do what needs to be done to, at the end of the day, collect the rent, you're gonna have learning experiences, which is what I've got, for better or worse. So I know I've lost heaps of money because I've had bad tenants. I'll go off the topic again, which is you're gonna avoid a lot of this if you actually get the right tenant. So even during the pandemic, I had very little issues in terms of collecting rent. I mean, there was a few people that said, hey, look, I'm having trouble, could we do something? I'm like, yeah, no worries, we'll drop the rent a little bit. There was sort of arrangements that I came up with these people, and it was nothing compared to the number of people who actually ended up paying their rent on time. No issues. They applied for the government rebates or government not rebates, government compensation plans that was available. I had one guy go, hey man, are you working? And he goes, yeah, I was working, but the government's paying me so much, doesn't really work, it's not worth me working, because they were getting that much subsidized from the government each week for staying at home, that he wasn't working, and he was basically just going out fishing all day. And it was just a hilarious situation. I'm just like, well, I didn't want to say anything. I'm like, well, if he's paying his rent on time, whatever. So you're gonna get a mixed crowd, but as long as you screen your tenants properly, and you know how to get your how to do the screening process. I might actually do a separate video on this, on the screening process completely, the software that I use, the emails that I write. I might do a video on that later. But screening your tenants is number 1, because if you get a good tenant in there, that's gonna save you a whole bunch of headaches. I've done well because of the mistakes that I've made in the past, and that's where you sort of have to weigh up here. If you get a proper property manager who does this for a living, he or she will save you a lot of money because of the learnings that they have, they do this. This is their bread and butter. Whereas if you're gonna do this and you're happy to commit the time to do it, that's fine. But keep in the back of your mind, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna lose money. You might have to evict people, and that may be it might turn you away from investing. That's what I want you to sort of keep in the back of your mind, because if that sort of becomes the breaking point, it's not worth it. You might as well give it to a professional from the get-go and be done with it, and then just go, look, that's not my cup of tea. I'm going to give it to a professional that you're going to interview and go through and find. And just letting you know, you can change property managers, if you're not happy with them. I've done that a couple of times in the past. And it's been fine, and it was the right thing to do, because some of them weren't doing their job properly. But if it is something that you want to do, you want to get your hands dirty, you want to know what it's all about, you want to know how to deal. Again, it's all about dealing with people. If you're happy to do that and make mistakes, fine, and you know that this is going to be a stepping stone into bigger and better things, more power to you. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Just in terms of hiring a good property manager, as I said, do speak to your friends and family first and get referrals, and ask them, how are they as a property manager in terms of dealing with the thing. If they, as I said, if they're calling them every week in regards to an issue, there's two problems. They've got a bad tenant and also a bad property manager, because they didn't do the screening process properly. That's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. All the best. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Take care.